Hey there, podcasters. Thanks for choosing Movie Groove. If you're a regular listener, or even if you're a version of a groover, why not take a moment to like, subscribe, or even leave an encouraging comment. Every week, Movie Groove brings you news, reviews, and cheap shots at Michael Bay, all for a low, low price or nothing per download. So enjoy the show. Like, subscribe, and comment. It's a little shop that shows a little love.
Very good, Robbie.
I couldn't hear it.
Movie Groove, 7 to 9 Thursdays on Energy Groove Radio.
Kara Stead. Good evening, Kara.
Good evening.
How are you?
Good.
Good. That was wow. Hang on a minute. That's gonna. I've got something for that. Wait a minute. There it is.
Thank you.
I'm having a good time already. So we like to start each and every show with entertainment and movie news from all around the galaxy. This is the bit we call episode 20, A News Hope. What?
Nothing.
They're gesturing to each other. The ladies here are they're doing some kind of funky sign language that I don't understand.
Secret women's code?
Yeah, okay. So it just sort of pointing and laughing. I think I know what that code means. Hang on, this is the box office news, isn't it? It is. With strong reviews and goodwill from its well-liked predecessor, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, or Dot Potter as we're calling it, that's the acronym. It easily ruled the domestic box office this weekend, giving rise to such awful headlines in entertainment news with zingers along the lines of Apes Go Bananas. There we go. Dawn Goes Ape. And Fearsome Ape Rules All, although that last one is a press release from our current Prime Minister. Damn straight. Overall, though, it was another slow weekend at US movie theatres. The top 12 earned $138.6 million, which is down 26% from the same weekend last year, in which Pacific Rim took second place in the box office to Adam Sandler's Grown Ups 2. So look out for next year's big summer hit, Dominion of the Planet of the Morons, based on true events. Damn you all to hell. Debuting at 3,967 theatres, Dot Potter earned $72.6 million this weekend. That's a 33% improvement over the last movie, and is also noticeably higher than last summer's World War Z, a movie which featured everything you loved about the best-selling novel, so long as the only thing you loved was the title. Of course, it's not the $90 million mark hit by other summer movies, but the Apes brand isn't as big a draw as Transformers, Spider-Man, or X-Men, because not enough explosions, George.
I hate explosions. That's like the one thing I don't see action movies ever.
Yeah, it's because something exploded. Why did it explode? We're not sure. Okay. So, not a big fan of Michael Bay either. We like to make fun of Michael Bay on this show, and they say that nothing worthwhile is ever easy. The movie's strong debut can be attributed to a few factors. First, 2011's Rise of the Planet of the Apes, or Rot Potter, was well received by moviegoers and has connected with many more during its post-theatrical run. Despite being based on a script that was dumber than a convention of PE teachers, the movie ended in such a way that viewers actually gave a toss about what might happen next. And the sequel appeared to push the story forward in a direction that might have more explosions, George. Did you see the original?
Yeah.
Right, so the bit where it lost me was right at the beginning, where they based the whole premise around these genius, brilliant biological doctors who are testing this serum on a chimp, and they failed to notice that their primary test subject was pregnant, carried the baby to term, and delivered the baby herself in the cage.
Yeah,
The genius geneticists failed to notice that this happened.
When you do an experiment, there's lots
Yeah.
of recording
Yeah.
and redoing and videos.
I'm very worried about her, doctor. She's gained a lot of weight. Oh no, look, just this morning she dropped it all. Oh, well, that's good.
Do you know where she dropped it?
Yeah. There's an awful mess in here. What should we be doing? Oh, well. Just clean it up and we'll keep going. So stupid, but anyway. It also retained Caesar, the super cool main character from the first. It held a darker tone, and it dropped James Franco from the cast, whose performance as a brilliant urological geneticist was less authentic than Roddy McDowell's rubber chimp mask from the 1968 original. Have you seen the original?
I think so.
Yeah, it's the one where like the guy's yelling at the beach with the Statue of
I'm
Liberty.
Sure I've
at the
seen it, but I only saw it like the
Yeah,
one
no,
time quite a while ago.
Yeah, it dates a little.
Yeah.
Yeah. Facing tough competition from apes, Transformers: Age of Extinction. I'm afraid so. It fell 56% to 16.3 million. Through 17 days, the fourth installment in the increasingly stupid Transformers franchise has earned 208.8 million. It'll close around 255 mil, and we can all go back to normalcy until the next requel is Xeroxed up and shipped. That's a new term that I'm coining for the first time on this show.
Yeah.
Requel. That's where you make the same movie again.
Okay. All right. Nope, I get you. I didn't even bother to see the last Transformer movie because I've already seen the Transformer movies.
If you see one, then you've seen them all.
Yeah.
They did this over, there's a site called Red Letter Media, where they recently watched all three of the original Transformer movies at the same time, and they found that scene for scene, they pretty much synchronized.
Oh, wow.
You know, the point where the main character is introduced, and then his family is introduced, and then his girlfriend is introduced, and then Bumblebee, the Transformer, is introduced, and then the scene where his girlfriend saves him from a small vicious Transformer, all happen in exactly the same.
Something's not broke, you don't fix it.
Damn right, you know.
But they didn't notice it was broke.
Yeah, no, he's very busy. He's got explosions to perfect, so he can't be thinking about things like story. The next requel will be Xeroxed and shipped pretty soon, and we can all spend more money watching the same crap yet again. It's been working for the Bond franchise since 1962, so we could be looking at a new one of these every 2 years until the year 2066. So if you're an edgy loner with a high-powered rifle on the lookout for a populous area with a centrally located bell tower, please do let us know where and when, and I'll bring the beer. In its second weekend, Tammy dipped 42% to 12.6 million. The Melissa McCarthy comedy has now grossed 57 million and is on track for at least 80 million total. That's dollars, not pounds. I never ever mean offense on this show. I really don't. So why is everybody...
He gives such a serious look with it.
I know. Also in theatres this week, Richard Linklater's Boyhood is on display. Richard opened his Boyhood at 5 theatres this weekend. That's only 5 theatres in the entire United States, and earned $387,618. That translates to more than $77,000 per theatre average, and Transformers got $22,000. So that's second only this year to the Grand Budapest Hotel. That's a heck of a performer. So we're going to see a widened release of that in the next few weeks. The movie has received unanimously positive reviews, so far scoring a 99% average on Metacritic.com. Do you know Metacritic?
I've heard of it.
Right, so if you've never been to Metacritic, it tabulates and records the average score of a movie as a weighted average. That's based on the respective standing of the reviewers whose opinions have been taken into account. So if you're Roger Ebert, they don't take your opinion into account anymore at all because you're dead. But if you're Richard Roper, who used to work with Roger Ebert, obviously your opinion in that matter would be weighted more than... Anyway, it's quite complex and it is explained in some detail on the site. Why is this important, Kara?
Some people are idiots.
No, it's important because by that site's reckoning, apart from the 2013 documentary Best Kept Secret and the as yet unreleased Russian film Leviathan, this score of 99% makes Boyhood the best film so far this century. And it puts it on par with masterpieces such as Jean-Pierre Melville's 1969 war flick Army of Shadows and Kurosawa's unsurpassed 1952 classic Seven Samurai. So that's how good we're saying.
I haven't seen any of those.
Take my word for it. These are, if you're a cinephile, then you know those names. The movie is set to expand its release in coming weeks, as I said. I'm throwing my money in 6 months out here. Boyhood will be at least nominated for Best Picture Oscar. It might not win, but it will get the nomination. And Linklater is a dead set lock for Best Director. Right?
All right.
Okay. I'm recording this, so believe me, when he wins that Oscar, I am
You're
going to be
replay
dragging
to
this up
me.
and saying, ha 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 ha.
And shoving it in my face. And
Yeah,
going,
exactly. Well,
pointing out how uneducated I am.
I would never shove anything in your face, Kara. I am not that ungentlemanly. Sorry, I've just realised how that sounds. The microphones are turned on and everything. Damn it, this keeps happening to me. So during its cinematic release, we here at Movie Groove will be keeping a close eye on Linklater's Boyhood. So if you're a fan of watching Boyhood or just movies about young boys in general, Movie Groove is your internet connection to more Boyhood updates, including exclusive pictures and articles about Boyhood, as well as intimate behind-the-scenes Boyhood action. Oh look, the police are here.
Movie Groove presents Things That Will Never Happen.
Last night's Oscar ceremony was a feast of top-quality entertainment from start to finish.
Join us next time for more Things That Will Never Happen.
I said, the late great Freddie Mercury there with I Want to Break Free. We miss you, Freddie. You were awesome. Not to be confused with our amazing boss, Freddie the Turk.
Yep.
Freddie the Turk. People are
Freddie
sick
the
when
Turk,
near
isn't he?
him.
Yeah.
Freddie the Turk. Only the evil fear him. Softness in his eyes. Iron in his
haven't
thighs.
actually made that into
Virtue
your
in his
own little
heart
clip.
and fire. And every part of the mighty Freddie the Turk. I'd just like to do it live.
Okay. Well, I think you could make a very good clip.
Well, I need to. Do you know any musicians that might do a? Because I can't play musical instruments at all, so I need somebody to get just a synth and go. Bum, 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 bum,
I'm pretty sure there's
bum,
one
bum.
sitting to your right that could.
What the what? So there is, and sitting quite close to me, but not close enough, is the wonderful Kara.
As per usual, there is a table in between.
There's a table in between us, so we can't let this thing come between this thing come between us. Kara's very glad that there's a table between us, believe me. Moving hastily along. Next on the show, we've got the segment where we have a look at what's opening in theatres in Australia and all around the world. This is a little bit we call opening scene. That's like the worst car I've ever done.
I was gonna say that's quite unique.
Yeah, it's rubbish. It takes ages to do those.
Oh no, it doesn't shock me at all. I was going through some footage last night. I recorded myself playing some games with mates, and I was doing a montage of my screams.
Yeah.
And I went through 3 hours of footage, and it took me about 3 hours just to go through them all, or to cut it up to find all the bits to put it together.
Yeah, Mum rushed in. I was like, "What's all the screaming going on in here?" Project thing, Mum. Go away.
She actually does come in and stands behind me going, "What are you doing? Who are you talking to? Why are you screaming? What's with the noise?" Just playing a game. My room's called The Cave
Yeah.
because it's generally always dark, cold. There's a heater and then there's something in the corner making noise.
All right. Paintings on the wall.
Yep.
Green fungus. You know,
Actually, my carpet's green, so yeah.
and drippy sound like. Anyway. Planes, Fire and Rescue is opening this week. A follow-up to Planes, Disney's 2012 obvious cash grab remake of the 2006 animated feature Cars, which transplants the plot of Doc Hollywood onto a world where the machines have wiped out humanity and become self-reliant, and is easily the creepiest and least popular movie in Pixar's catalogue. But, being an extended toy advert, it's also their most profitable by a long margin, so here we are. When world-famous air racer Dusty learns that his engine has a damaged plot contrivance, and he may never race again, he must blah 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 launched into a world of aerial firefighting. Dusty joins forces with veteran firefighter and rescue helicopter Blade Ranger and his team, a bunch of all-terrain vehicles known as the veteran character actors doing their bits in a day and running off with a massive check. Together, the fearless team battles an enormous wildfire, and Dusty learns what it takes to become a true Disney Corp shill. And here's a little taste of that.
Well, spilling mud on people makes for sad campers. Big party at my lodge makes for happy campers. You understand?
Answer is yes.
Yes.
What? Huh?
I will never understand why you want to jump out of a perfectly good airplane.
We're not. We're jumping out of you.
Get out of this airspace.
Sorry.
Copy that, Hefe. Hey, Sugar Rims. You just fall out of a B-17? Because you're the bomb.
Pickup trucks.
So, if they're following the tradition of putting all the best jokes in the trailer, that does not bode well.
Okay, so has this come out?
It's opening today.
Okay, are you planning to watch this? Because I love animated films, and that's basically all I watch. And even I can't bring myself to go see this.
Right, I sat through the original in the cinema because I have small children.
Yes.
So I took my children to see the original Planes, and it was really really bad. It was boring. I mean, like, usually they sit there transfixed if something's moving on screen. There was plenty of movement on the screen, but they were bored out of their mind.
Yeah, no, I know.
And
I have a nephew who's currently so obsessed with Ka-Chow that it's not even funny, and I have a cousin who won't stop buying things. So my house is filled with Ka-Chow and the sounds of Ka-Chow, Ka-Chow, Ka-Chow. I would like to beat cars up and watch them burn.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's, cars were very big in my house for a while, and then they moved on to Angry Birds, and then Ben 10 for a while, and right now it's Transformers, Star Wars for a bit, Lego Movie is very big. They've just basically attached themselves to anything.
Did you know that you can get a Transformer onesie?
My son already has one. That's what he wanted to buy with his birthday money. He didn't even hesitate when I asked him, what do you want to buy with the $50 that Granny and Grandpa sent you? And he said, Transformer! So,
which must be painful for you.
I don't mind the Transformers. It was stupid and cheesy, and the stories were always the same. So, in that sense, Michael Bay has captured the essence of the cartoons with the movies. But it was better than most of the shinola that was coming out at the time.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so fondly remembered,
because
it didn't suck.
Visually, it's pretty.
Yeah, it works. Anyway, the sequel stars alleged comedian and Antichrist Dane Cook, the highest paid comedian currently working in the United States, despite being less funny than your new wife stumbling across the body of the old one. I think we all know how that feels, right, fellas? There are those who say I have the body of a 20-year-old. Actually, I have 3. They're never going to find him.
Oh my gosh.
And whose bafflingly massive popularity across the United States has been attributed to, I should say, the level of mercury in the seafood. And next, we have The Purge Anarchy. The original Purge. This is a sequel. The Purge was a surprise 2012 hit from, was it Scott Derrickson? No, I don't think it was. I've only got a question mark here because I forgot to put that detail in. Somebody look that up for me. Set in 2022, somebody look that up for me. Yep. Crime and unemployment are at an all-time low. James DeMonaco. So yeah, I should have just stuck with the question mark. Crime and unemployment are at an all-time low as the country is now governed by the new founding fathers of America, formerly the Tea Party, presumably, who have enacted The Purge, an annual 12-hour period during which all crime, including murder, rape, and even video piracy, is completely legal. All police and emergency response services are suspended during this time period, and anyone who doesn't follow the rules of The Purge face execution. Although what due process must take place before that sentence is imposed and subsequently carried out is unclear. Basically, the premise is so stupid that thinking about it for any length of time is like building a spacecraft out of drinking straws. It ain't gonna fly, it'll fall apart within minutes, and what's left of it just sucks. While critics generally judge the film to be a missed opportunity, squandering a juicy premise on nothing more than a bog-standard home invasion flick, it grossed over $80 million in the US from a $3 million budget. So here we go again. None of the original cast return because, spoiler alert, switch off for 5 seconds now. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Okay. The only survivors of the first movie were Lena Headey as the devoted wife, and the other survivor was the black guy. So, The Purge Anarchy opens as a young couple that we've never met before are on the way back to the safety of their home for the annual free-for-all. They suffer a breakdown in a bad neighborhood and must find a way to survive the next 12 hours of anarchy. And here's a clip.
Traffic is building rapidly downtown as citizens rush to get home before commencement.
This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of the annual Purge. At the siren, all crime, including murder, will be legal for 12 hours.
America, a nation reborn. Just drive, just drive. Stick to the plan.
A lot of breath acting in that.
Yeah.
Just stick to the plan. Just drive, just drive.
I'm Batman. I can have it, sorry.
So the movie stars black and Hispanic actors that you've never heard of almost exclusively, so no ironic racism in this one, I'm guessing. Are you planning to pop along and see that one?
No.
No?
No.
You sure?
I don't do thrillers
right.
or actions.
The lady
Not unless
doesn't
you want me to be huddled on a couch with a pillow across my face, basically.
Oh boy, so many inappropriate comments. Yeah,
Restrain yourself. Come on.
really am going to have to leave that one the hell alone. If you're listening, Sandra, I love you very much. Go to bed, kids. So this might be a little more speed. Sex tape.
I'm actually looking forward to this one.
Cameron Diaz and Jason Segel star in a comedy about a sex tape in an era when sex hasn't been recorded on actual tape for about 15 years now. When Jay and Annie first got together, the sex was intense. But 10 years and 2 kids have cooled the passion, so to kick things up a notch, they decide to make a video of themselves trying out every position in The Joy of Sex, which is a famous book from a few years ago that I don't own, I promise, in one marathon 3-hour session. But after unwittingly syncing the file to a bunch of iPads that they then hand out to friends and family at a party as party favors, so somebody had a good year. Now they must run around everyone and get them all back before anyone sees it and immediately uploads it to the net. The likelihood of doing this successfully is somewhere in the region of getting attacked by a shark and struck by lightning on the same day on the moon. But hey, you'll need to stay with the premise if you're going to enjoy it at all, so here's a clip.
Honey, erase that video. Don't forget, okay?
I won't forget.
Welcome to an evening
Oh, shit.
with Annie and Jay.
Is that us?
You know the cloud?
So instead of erasing the video, like you said that you would, our sex tape ended up syncing to all the iPads we gave out as gifts.
Technically, yes.
My mom,
Robbie,
my boss,
and the mailman.
It went up! It went up to the cloud!
and you can't get it down from the cloud?
Nobody understands the cloud. It's a f***ing mystery!
That is true. I don't know what the cloud is.
Nor do I. I hate the cloud, and any opportunity to get away from it, I try.
I stay well away from that button. Like it's on every on every user interface I have now. There's a little button with a cloud on it that says cloud. I'm like, I'm not.
I think my iTunes is the only thing that has touched
Yeah,
the cloud.
I don't want
so
stuff
far.
on the cloud. I've got my own hard drive.
Yes,
It's
me
cool. Having said that, I'm going to get home and find that my hard drive is fried and I've lost 3 months on backed up work.
It's always the way, isn't it?
It certainly is. Anyway, it's a zany R-rated comedy about white middle-class 30-somethings perhaps-falling their way through meaningless modern problems while the planet beneath them hurtles into an apocalypse of war, famine, pestilence, and death. See you at the movies. Actually, that is actually the middle-class couple's worst nightmare.
What,
if you
that
think
everyone
about it,
sees?
what because especially if I did that, like if I accidentally uploaded a 3-hour sex tape of myself and my wife. I would be killed. I want to say I'd be killed in my sleep, but I have to think that she would find some way to make sure that my eyes were open at the time, and that I was conscious and fully aware of what horrible fate was. It really wouldn't. It would be bad. That would be a terrible thing to.
I mean, if it's an accident.
Yeah, no, but if it's an accident, okay, so
happens.
but then you get to be famous.
Yeah.
And people are waving at the street. Hey.
I've seen your bits.
Well, I mean, you could do the same thing as Kim Kardashian did and make a hell of a lot of money out of it. You're looking at me like you have no idea what I'm talking about.
I do. I do. I do. I just.
Oh yeah,
it's not something I ever want to think about.
It was me comparing you to Kim Kardashian. That wow, you should have seen the look that I just got. I was sort of like, I always refer to her as my favorite porn star. And a person that I was talking to was like, "No, how she's not a porn star. She didn't upload that to the net." And I said, "No, that's true. She did sign the deal that had it released on Vivid Video though for $6.4 million. So, in front of the cameras, oh, it's so terrible. What a betrayal. Behind the scene, K Kardashian, give me the money.
Pretty much.
She's a practical girl.
Sorry, I mean, how much money did she make on it again?
6.4, I think, was the deal from Vivid Video.
I mean,
that's a lot of dosh.
I was gonna say
for 6.4, you would, yeah.
I mean, it's just a sex tape.
True.
You could do it tastefully.
Okay. So, Kara and Friend, available soon from Vivid Video. There'll be links on the website. In any case, that's everything on the screen and in the scene this week. And so, until next week, know this. It is always, and I do mean always, darkest before the opening scene. We're back.
And you are lost.
I'm not lost. At the top of that bracket, I believe they're called a bracket by radio professionals, which are a distinct group from myself. We had Jimi Hendrix, The Purple Haze. That's a very old song. That's from, it really hurts me to think about how long ago that is now. And then, as you heard, we had Leah Michelle, which apparently is a song that's come out recently. A very talented young lady, I've been led to believe. I looked her up on Firefox and it crashed, but that's something that Firefox does a lot. So, a big shout out to the Mozilla Corporation out there. Your work isn't very good. But then neither is mine. So we're all in good company. And if you're feeling at all curious about the noise that's coming out of your radio, this is Energy Groove Radio, transmitting live from the beautiful city of Sydney and all around the world. The name of the show is Movie Groove. My name is Alister Lockhart. And sitting with me is the inimitable Kara Stead.
You always do it for me.
So, what's your name?
Kara. I don't.
Say it sexy like.
No. I
Like,
can't.
00 55 33 300. Ring now. I'm all covered in banana custard.
Do you know that there are people who make a lot of money by doing that?
I do
Literally
know that, yeah.
Filming themselves, like tipping a can of baked beans on themselves and just being like, yeah, and then they make heaps of money from it.
You seem to know a lot about this.
There was a documentary on TV about women who do it.
All right. What was it called? Was it a shockumentary? That's my favourite kind of mentary.
I can't recall exactly what it was called. I think it was just you, me, and the camera or something.
Right. Yeah, okay. Well, so that's what I'm going to be looking up on YouTube. Well, about 3 minutes of it. But, what?
I'm really hoping that I'm not seeing some really bad joke that you weren't trying to make.
I'm hoping that Jocelyn's mother isn't listening again, because we were talking about Jocelyn's mother last week, and then it turned out that she was actually listening. So I'd like to send out an apology to Mrs. Doraraj. I'm just really sorry. Now and again, Hollywood gives us movies we've been waiting a lifetime for, and no one lacks an opinion on who should get the lead. Here we throw our 2 cents in as we beg casting agents everywhere to consider anyone but Affleck. And first in Anyone But Affleck, after being barely noticeable in Maleficent, Elle Fanning is set to star in a movie adaptation of the Neil Gaiman's short story, How to Talk to Girls at Parties. Did you see Maleficent?
Yes. Are you talking about the young girl, blonde hair?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I wanted to smack her so hard.
So she was barely noticeable. You did notice her and you just wanted to smack her. Right, so that's
Okay, here's my biggest issue, right? When you cast someone who has a character that has blonde hair, don't leave brown eyebrows. Because blondes like her wouldn't have brown eyebrows. And her face just bothers me intensely.
Okay.
Your face bothers me.
So you heard it here first, Elle Fanning. Your face bothers Kara. That puts you on my shit list, sweetheart. Anyway, How to Talk to Girls at Parties. From any other source, the title would imply an angsty teen wank about coming of age without doing the same in your pants. But from master fantasist Neil Gaiman, you just know that at some point a portal will open up and some weirdness from another dimension will bomb in and mess with your shit. The story starts as a couple of British 1970s teenage boys, Anne and Vic, go to a party to meet girls, only to find out that girls are very different from their expectations. Vic, being the more confident of the two, finds himself well within his element, leaving the self-conscious Anne alone. But to his surprise, Anne finds himself talking to 3 very nice foreign exchange students. But as he ineptly attempts to make his move on the girls, it is revealed that these young ladies are not from a foreign country so much as somewhere a great deal further away. That's literature, anyway. The very brief synopsis available for the movie appears to focus on just the one alien hottie, so there's no way to know how closely it will cleave to the source material at all. But How to Talk to Girls at Parties was nominated for the 2007 Hugo and Locus Awards for the Best Short Story. The film adaptation is to be directed by actor-director John Cameron Mitchell, whose previous films include Hedwig and the Angry Inch and a little film called Short Bus. 2 films I sincerely hope Elle Fanning's mother hasn't seen, or she's going to have some questions about the contract. Did you see Short Bus?
No.
Right, so Short Bus is interesting, to say the very least.
Need a little bit more than that.
So it's a movie that features a sex club.
Oh, okay.
A place where people who have out-of-kilter sexuality with the mainstream can go and enjoy themselves and each other. And the thing is that the movie, all of the sex in the movie is unsimulated. So the actors, who all had girlfriends and wives and significant others, actually had sex with the other actors on camera for the film. So it's very confronting.
Yes.
In fact, it opens with a young guy releasing
Yep, right.
into his own mouth while being filmed from across the street. And then another scene has 3 guys having a threesome, and one of them sings the US national anthem directly into another's anus. So it's...
And you watch this.
And just a short bus ride away. I watched as much as I could stomach.
I think I just sit there skipping through.
It wasn't the unsimulated sex so much as just the really tedious middle-class dialogue about how awful it is to be living in a part of the world where you don't have to worry about being hacked to death by machete-wielding bandits on the way to school. Anyway, so he's the guy that's directing that. That's going to be an interesting movie. Good luck, El. Hail Caesar, the Wrap reports that Jonah Hill has signed on to cast in the Coen brothers' next movie, Hail Caesar, but his role for now is being kept secret. I did not mean to press that button. Casting for this movie already includes George Clooney, Josh Brolin, Channing Tatum, yummy, Tilda Swinton, and... Come on, tell me that you disagree.
No, I don't.
Yeah, no, nobody does.
No one.
Yeah, but you're
disgruntled person who doesn't like.
Okay, there's another person in the room, but
anything
she's
but Shemaya Moore.
really weird. So, Ralphie, so I'm sold already, but in case you need convincing, either because you've never heard of the Coen brothers before or you're more interested in the next Transformers movie, one more Coen brothers alum is rejoining the fold, Scarlett Johansson. Oh, Scarlett, who co-starred in the siblings' 2001 eerie existentialist drama, The Man Who Wasn't There, with Billy Bob Thornton. She's joining the cast as well. So, the movie takes place in Hollywood's golden age and follows a fixer, George Clooney, tasked with keeping the salacious scandals of the town's biggest stars out of the press. Tatum will play one such movie star, Fiennes will play a filmmaker, and Swinton a gossip columnist. Johansson's role is that of an actress who suddenly becomes pregnant as her film is about to go into production. She's great for this part because she's reportedly recently fallen pregnant for real, which means that I must track down whomever it was that touched my beautiful Scarlett and have him slowly killed. An example must be made.
Indeed.
Scarlett, you never call.
I can get behind this one.
You want to get behind Scarlett too? Hey, one of these two. Thank you. You people are too kind. Way too kind. Mission Impossible 5. Tom Cruise is back again for another impossible mission, utilizing improbable technology, unlikely athleticism, and a good deal of complete and utter bollocks. The latest news on the flick is that Alec Baldwin is in talks to star, along with the Swedish up-and-comer Rebecca Ferguson, whom you don't remember from a bunch of TV stuff, so who cares? In Mission Impossible 5, Baldwin will play the head of the CIA, as played by Alec Baldwin in the role of CIA Director Alec Baldwin. Early reports say Baldwin, an actor's actor, is completely inhabiting the role. While Ferguson is set to play the female lead, opposite Tom Cruise, who's totally excited to be starring with such a hot female with her lady parts and everything that he finds so alluring. He's just so up for it, you just don't know. The 5th installment also stars Jeremy Renner and Simon Pegg in the respective roles that they made so memorable from the last movie. You remember.
Actually, Simon Pegg is the only one I really cared about.
Oh, right.
So, I do remember.
Well, so they were in it, apparently.
Yeah.
The lead female role in the 5th film in the Mission Impossible franchise was first offered to Jessica Chastain. Somebody?
Who's that?
I don't know. But she passed on the offer, which is just insane, because every other female who starred as a love interest in a Mission Impossible movie has gone on to... Ferguson seems like a solid replacement. She recently nabbed a Golden Globe nomination for her English language debut in the title role of BBC's The White Queen. Also, she's hot, under 25, and can recite lines reasonably well if need be. So, as a love interest for Tom Cruise, she's also qualified to get married to him in real life.
Ooh. I get your reference, yay!
Yay! Anyway, thanks for joining us this week on Anyone But Affleck. It's been fun.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's
I'm
sorry.
what you're going to?
Mm-hmm. So good to have you along.
Thank you.
Now, moving right along, because we've still got a fair bit to get on with, occasionally on this show we like to focus on the movie news that makes the geek clique bust its leak, and I don't have my cart ready.
Letting down the team, as per usual.
Oh, dearie. You know what I'm going to do? Oh, no, there it is. There it is. Sorry. Okay, let's do that again. We'll rewind. Occasionally on this show, we like to focus on the movie news that makes the geek clique bust its leak. This is the Geekly Roundup.
I'm nerdy in the extreme and whiter than sour cream. I was in AV Club and Glee Club and even the chess team. Nerdy and white and nerdy.
Sorry about the distortion there. That's turned up a little bit too high. The Geekly Roundup. It's all about marketing this week. The Sydney Morning Herald reports that Australian actor Chris Hemsworth might soon be out of a job, with Marvel Comics announcing that Thor is now a goddess of thunder. Yes, indeed. Marvel made the shock reveal on the US talk show The View, which meant that in researching this piece, I was exposed to up to 15 seconds of footage from The View. But I'm grateful to say that my IQ has almost come back up to normal. Anyway, they said that Thor will be a woman in the new comic series due out this October.
And Marvel Comics plunges.
There's a lot of opinion about this, but we'll get to that in a second. When the classic male hero is no longer able to wield the mighty hammer, the new female worthy of the name Thor will emerge. It sounds better when you say it in an Aussie accent. Thor. My tongue's getting Thor.
I'm very bad at accents. I'm not trying.
No. Marvel editor Will Moss says, the inscription on Thor's hammer reads, "Whosoever holds this hammer, if he be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor." Well, it's time to update that inscription. This is not she-Thor, said Jason Aaron, the writer of the new Thor series, in a statement. This is not Lady Thor. This is not Thorita. This is Thor. The female Thor is an effort to bring new readers and to appeal to women and girls, whom Marvel have long ignored in comics. Now, that isn't strictly true, but you don't lose money by pandering to people who think it is. So, this is now the 8th title to feature a female protagonist, and to pad the story out, the Sydney Morning Herald has once again saved a great deal of time by copy-pasting random comments from anonymous nobodies on Twitter.
That's the way to do it these days.
The fact that I've copy-pasted this article from the Herald may seem ironic, but until you realise that I'm not a supposedly trained professional journalist. Seriously, I just wandered in here because I thought I smelled cookies. Many fanboys were horrified. Really, Marvel? You really had to make Thor a woman? Why? What genius writer decided on this? Will you also change Norse lore? WTF, said Rick Swift. But for the fangirls out there, they seem to be torn between girl power and defiance. George Sadis said, "Not sure how I feel about this new Marvel Thor being a woman. I'm all for female empowerment and all, but no." How the writer of this recycled bibble in service of a news item knows that these comments are coming from females is unclear, but hey, this is the Herald Online. We're not even sure that this wasn't written by a story-generating phone app. There was a lot of support, however, amongst those who think that this noise is somehow important, or even more laughably, in any way permanent. Thank you, Marvel, for making this father of a 3-year-old proud to know that her comic book reading days are in safe hands. Cap Caveman tweeted, somehow thinking that the fact that he's a comic nerd who's had sex is somehow unique, and finding that the Herald apparently agrees.
How do you feel about the female Thor?
I am entirely ambivalent about it, because the thing about Thor, he said, is that despite the fact that it's one of the most valuable properties in popular culture today, 20 years ago, these were the B properties from an industry that was nosediving, like a greasy crowbar. So I didn't give a toss about Thor when I was young. I thought it was silly then, and I'm frankly astonished that they managed to make a movie that isn't side-splittingly, hilariously bad out of it at all, let alone 2.
Yeah.
So
I think it's silly.
Those were all the B properties when I was a kid. Iron Man, Captain America, Thor. Nobody gave a damn. It was all about Spider-Man and the X-Men. But they sold those properties off to Sony and Fox to get some money to stay afloat, because that's when the comic industry died on its arse and crashed and failed and burned and smelled bad for about 10 years.
It kind of does still smell bad. Nerd sweat and all.
Yeah, how come nerds know so much except, you know, the deodorant goes here and here.
Because no one showed them, because they don't leave their caves.
So proud of Marvel for the announcement of the female Thor. Not she-Thor or Lady Thor, but a hashtag Thor who just happens to be female. Hashtag progress, wrote E.B. Phipps, lifting the thought directly from the text of the article due to having none of his or her own. So, having filled some column space with this dross, the Herald went on to print the only other info they'd bothered to lift from Cinema Blend. It will be the biggest change to its 3 largest comic characters, Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor, according to Marvel. That isn't even a sentence. and the Herald wants me to pay for my online subscription. When it snows in hell. In other news, they've killed Archie. I'm afraid so. Check it out.
Really?
Yeah.
They actually did.
They've killed him.
They actually did.
Actually,
right
killed.
now, I can hear my dad on his knees
No. Mr. Stead, are you on your knees screaming?
screaming. I might get a message soon.
I'm afraid so. They've killed him. From the Herald again. They copy-pasted an actual article on this one. The US comic book character Archie Andrews will die this week, taking a bullet intended for a gay politician, publisher said, calling it a fitting marketing ploy, turning point for the iconic brand. In the new issue on Wednesday of Life with Archie, the famous redhead saves the life of newly elected Senator Kevin Keller, introduced as the first openly gay character in the comic in 2010. The death of Archie is the biggest story in Archie Comics history and a major milestone for comics, period, said Archie Comics publisher John Goldwater. And listen to all this. Archie dies as he lived, a hero, representing the best in all of us. The fact that he's saving Kevin is a metaphor for the rebirth this company has experienced over the last 5 years. This is truly a new Archie Comics, unafraid, daring, progressive, and on the cusp of greatness.
And without Archie.
Apparently stopping just short of announcing that the moon landing had now been superseded as the standing benchmark for hyperbolic statements about human achievement. Life with Archie 36 will detail his final moments, while Life with Archie 37 will show how the writers are coping with the obvious irony of the series title. While it is a shock to some, the company said the storyline has been in the works for a couple of years and definitely not an emergency tactic to lift flagging sales. The announcement in a press release published on comic news website Comicosity comes ahead of the Comic-Con International Conference in San Diego, the top US annual gathering of socially awkward virgins with dubious personal hygiene. John O'Jarrett from Geeks Out, a New York-based organization that supports gays who enjoys comics, was among those caught up in the faux fervor over the sensationalist ploy, which is only slightly less ridiculous than the time they did an Archie crossover story with Marvel's The Punisher. That's not a gag. That actually happened.
I was about to say, no, you're joking.
No, I am not joking. There was an Archie Punisher crossover.
Really?
Yeah. Look it up. It's not even hilarious. It's just really
disturbing.
Yeah.
And wrong.
So, anyway. I was very surprised. I was impressed with the boldness in the storytelling. Life with Archie doesn't pull its punches. This seems like a real American story, a very now kind of a story, and I think that's really exciting for a character that's 75 years old. An eternal optimist, Jarrett says that the death of Archie will help the world get one step closer to acceptance, apparently oblivious to the continued absence in mainstream comics of a single title that has a lead LGBT character. In the events in the Flash Forward series, they will not affect Archie in the present-day series, Mr. Stead. It's okay, get off your knees. His adventures and stories as a teenager will continue for some baffling reason. I just think that gay guys like to read it because they're just imagining that Archie and Jughead are actually just lovers, and Archie is so firmly in the closet that he needs two beards rather than one.
It wouldn't shock me at all.
No. Jughead never has a girlfriend, so he's definitely gay. The Archie comics, launched in the 1940s and popular with generations of US youngsters, follow the fortunes of high school students Archie, Betty, Veronica, Reggie, and Jughead in the fictional town of Riverdale. Archie Comics is published around the globe and has sold 2 billion comics worldwide, and despite running far past its natural use-by date, continues to sell because of the nostalgic Gen X name recognition and very little else. Hence the obligatory tried and tested sales booster of producing a sensationalist cover spread featuring a shocking scene in which the main character is dead. Oh God, please don't say it's so. This is just like when they did it with Jean Grey, Charles Xavier, Jason Todd, Kara Zor-El, Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, Bucky Barnes, Steve Rogers, Peter Parker, Hal Jordan. Oops, reboot, he's fine, carry on. So yeah, it's not like this hasn't been done before. And the covers are always the same. The main character is being held by a woman person, and the other peripheral characters are around going like, oh my God. And
it's the way to capture an audience.
And that's precisely what they've done here. I mean, they've really broken the mold and then glued it back together and used the same damn mold.
Life egos here. Let's just follow the blueprint, guys.
That's right. And speaking of crap, Roberto Orci may not direct Star Trek 3. Come on, this is good news. Back in May, the bad news was that Roberto Orci, who co-wrote such films as Transformers, Cowboys and Aliens, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and both recent Star Trek movies. That's 5 strikes, Robert. was a guaranteed lock to direct the upcoming untitled Star Trek 3, but it turns out the trades have been a bit overeager in reporting that little bit of news. The deal has just not been closed yet. In an apparent attempt to destroy the franchise once and for all, Paramount has had Orky tagged for one of the lead candidates, as one of the lead candidates for the Star Trek 3 directing gig since April, but he has revealed to Collider that the job is not yet his to claim as his own. I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. The studio has yet to even smell the script.
Why do chickens always get dragged into everything?
I don't know. I'm in the middle of wiping my arse on it, along with the writing team of Payne and McKay, who have also been living entirely on Taco Bell and Starbucks coffee for 3 months. They are true Star Trek fans. They've heard of the TV show anyway, and they've even downloaded a video called 10 Best Ever Star Trek Scenes from YouTube by user SomeGuy92. So it's good that he's being so honest about all of this.
I'm glad to hear it.
I don't suppose you saw Star Trek Into Darkness.
You know the answer to that question.
Right, so it was woeful. If you know anything about the genre itself.
I don't. I honestly don't. My mum is a Trekkie, and that's as far as I got to it.
While he may not be necessarily directing the film, Orky is still clearly a big creative contributor to the upcoming Star Trek 3 and has opened up about the direction that the franchise is headed in. A clear message to the Dark Lord Satan, clear a path, boss, it's headed your way. Late last month, the filmmaker conducted an interview in which he talked about how Star Trek was at least a serviceable film, although copies of the film are required to be kept in a sealed container away from children and family pets, as well as any fresh fruit or vegetables, to prevent spoilage. And as we know, any physical copies of Star Trek Into Darkness need to be reported to authorities immediately, and the area they are found in is to be evacuated and quarantined so that it can be safely destroyed by fire from the air. Paramount has said that their plans to have Star Trek 3 sealed in an impregnable German-engineered concrete bunker deep beneath the Earth. After that, if it is to be destroyed, they say, a suitable candidate must be found who will carry the film to the land of Mordor, where it must be cast into the fires of Mount Doom. Whosoever that person may be, you will have my axe. I'm not coming, but you can have the axe. That's all we have on the Geekly Roundup for this week. And remember, if it ain't obsession, then it just ain't geek.
Movie Groove presents Things That Will Never Happen.
This is one of the most cherished works of literature in history, and the movie version more than honors that legacy.
Join us next time for more Things That Will Never Happen.
That was Michael Jackson with Billie Jean, who is not his lover. Tell it to the courts, buddy.
Say that version you were singing me while that played.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh my.
I've
never quite heard anything like that.
Ooh, there's a Rolling Stones number here. We might play that later on. Anyway, welcome back to Energy Groove Radio. We're transmitting live from the city of Sydney and all around the world. The name of the show is Movie Groove. My name's Alister Lockhart, and sitting with me is the indescribable Kara Stead. She's a redhead. She's not really indescribable.
Just say. It's not too hard. Red, female, young, done.
You know, cute-ish. Oh no, that's real hurt. Photos on the website. Tasteful ones. You just like to hear people trampling each other to get to the computers. Each week here at Movie Groove, we take a look at the oft-overlooked art of movie music from Hollywood and the unsung heroes who create it, in a bit that we call The Sound of Movies. And this week in The Sound of Movies, we have David Shire. He's an American songwriter and composer of stage, musical, film, and television scores. He began scoring for television in the 60s and made the leap to feature films in the early 1970s. He was then married to actress Talia Shire, who is best remembered for being the person Sylvester Stallone was referring to when he yells, "Adrian!" Are you with me so far?
Nope.
She also played the part of Michael Corleone's little sister Connie in the Godfather trilogy. Talia's real-life brother and Godfather director Francis Ford Coppola hired Shire to score The Conversation, perhaps his best-known work in 1974. He also scored Two People, All the President's Men, The Hindenburg, Farewell My Lovely, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, 2010, The Year We Made Contact, The Big Bus, Return to Oz, Short Circuit, and Zodiac. He composed original music for Saturday Night Fever, for which he received 2 Grammy Award nominations, and he also worked on several disco adaptations, including Night on Disco Mountain. This week's track is taken from The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3. No, not the mediocre remake with John Travolta, as a blue-collar revolutionary so unconvincing that he was upstaged by his own ridiculous grease paint wig. This is Shire's ballsy, jazzy opening from the excellent Walter Matthau, Robert Shaw original New York subway train heist thriller from 1976. It's not what it weighs, Albert, it's what it buys. This is from the taking of Pelham 123. Bee Gees there, with Night Fever from the movie Saturday Night Fever, the 1977 film with John Travolta, which also featured 3 original songs by David Shire, who gave us that beautiful, wonderful track from The Taking of Pelham 123. Travolta got an Oscar nomination for his role in that movie, but it didn't get any awards for Best Song or Score that year. The album did go on, however, to be the best-selling soundtrack of all time, and to this day is now second only to Whitney Houston's soundtrack for The Bodyguard. Congratulations to Whitney Houston. She's been dry for 2 years now, I think. That's actually not fair. They say that she was clean when she died. Well, she would have been. She was in the bath. I'm surprised at you, Kara. Dearie me. So Saturday Night Fever also has a sequel, if you're interested, 1983's Staying Alive, rated number 1 in Entertainment Weekly's top 25 worst sequels ever made. Travolta has said that Stallone was his favourite director because he knew how to make him look good on screen. So, ladies, there's Travolta, 1977, and there's Travolta, 1983. What was it?
Looks like a very masculine Kendall.
Yeah, I think it was Jackie. So Stallone's mother, Jackie, was involved somehow. She makes her living now as an arse whisperer. You know how some people are, how some people read palms. They tell your future.
She doesn't really, does she?
Yes. Look it up. This is Jen, like Jackie Stallone, Sylvester Stallone's mother, makes her living as an arsist. Tells your future by reading your arse. Look it up. That was the sound of movies, and every week I like to remind the listeners that my favourite bit of the Oscars is the In Memoriam segment. But why would we wait until March when we can enjoy death every week in a bit that we call Dead for Reals?
Behind the clouds, the sun is shining. There's a big blue sky waiting right behind the clouds.
Well, you're dead now, so shut up!
Did you find it?
Yeah. Rumpologist.
A rumpologist. There it is,
a rumpologist.
yeah. A rumpologist, yeah. It reminds me of that scene in Arrested Development where one of the characters, Tobias Fünke, he proudly announces that he's merged the disciplines of analyst and therapist into the one role, analrapist. And then he hands somebody a business card, and yeah, it's basically spelled anal rapist. So, if you need to know what your future holds, then you could do a lot worse than going to see Jackie Stallone. She'll look at your butt for you. So will I, if paid the right amount of money. My mind's wandering a bit. Dead for reals. Dave Legeno. I think it's Legeno? I'm not sure. His IMDb profile describes Dave as, quote, a twin-fisted existentialist whose post-Nietzschean sensibilities reject the lantern of the cynic in a quest for a sun that leaves no shadow, which proves two things. One, he wrote that profile himself, and two, he really should have stuck to acting. Dave studied performing arts in his 20s and then became a professional wrestler and then secured the role of John, one of Bricktop's thugs in the movie Snatch. Do you see that one? Nope. Other film and TV work followed, including films such as Batman Begins and Elizabeth, the Golden Age. In between acting gigs, he became a professional cage fighter, securing wins over LA street fighting legend Kimo Leopoldo and ex-UFC heavyweight champion Dan Severn. His biggest role was the werewolf Fenrir Greyback in the Harry Potter series. Are you with me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the guy who played Fenrir Greyback, the werewolf, has died.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's kind of sad.
It was reported this week that Legeno died while taking a hike in Death Valley, presumably in his quest for a sun that leaves no shadow. Maybe a bad place to be searching. There's not much shadow on any day that it rains, and he could have had that at home about 2/3 of the year. So that's where philosophy gets you, Dave. Legeno's body was discovered by two hikers on Sunday in a remote area of the California wilderness. The Hollywood Reporter confirmed the news that his body had been airlifted from the site west of Zabriskie Point in Death Valley, according to a statement given to THR. It appears that he died of heat-related issues. There are no signs of foul play, so that's heartening, I suppose. Temperatures in Death Valley can reach up to 120 degrees. That's 45 for you working on the other scale.
Celsius.
Thank you. Hence the name. Legeno is survived by a daughter aged in her 20s. He was 50 years old. Son cast no shadow in the grave, Dave. Achievement unlocked. Well done, son.
Nothing.
They're giving me that look again. Tommy Ramone. He was a Hungarian-American record producer and musician. He was the drummer of the influential punk rock band The Ramones for 4 years. Tommy was born Erdélyi Tamás in Budapest, Hungary in 1949 to Jewish Holocaust survivors. The family emigrated to the US when he was 4, and he grew up in New York. Tommy and guitarist John Cummings, who was later dubbed Johnny Ramone, performed together in a 4-piece called the Tangerine Puppets while in high school. In 1970, he was an assistant engineer for the production of the classic Jimi Hendrix album Band of Gypsies. When the Ramones first came together with Johnny Ramone on guitar, Dee Dee Ramone on bass, and Joey Ramone on drums, Tommy was supposed to be the manager, but was drafted as the band's drummer when Joey moved to lead vocals. Tommy Ramone, Dee Dee said, who was managing us, finally had to sit down behind the drums because nobody else wanted to. The Ramone brothers were never related. But they just, they were the Ramones, but they were never...
So they were just...
They were just 4 guys who called themselves, so in spirit. But
hey, guys hang out enough, they act like brothers.
They are inordinately popular. I've never been a big fan of the Ramones, but there are people out there who just worship them. Cool. But back to Tommy, he remained as a drummer until 74 to 78. He co-produced their first 3 albums, Ramones, Leave Home, and Rocket to Russia, as well as a live album, It's Alive. His songs have appeared in more than 50 movies and TV shows such as House of 1,000 Corpses, Get Him to the Greek, and of course Pet Sematary, which you might remember from 1989. That's based on the Stephen King book where... I
was 5 or something.
Well, no, some people, they discover that they're living next door to an Indian burial ground. And if you bury somebody that you know there...
I have seen this.
Right, so it comes back to life. So they bury the cat there, and the cat comes back to life, and it's not very friendly.
Yep, I've seen it.
And then later on, grief-stricken over the death of their child, they bury the child in the cemetery as well.
Yeah.
Which turns out to be a mistake.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's Pet Sematary. They did a song for that movie.
I forgot I even watched that.
I know, it's pretty horrible. Actually, that's interesting. I got stood up by a girl.
At a cemetery?
No, I was going to go and see that movie.
Oh,
we were going to go to the movies, and we were going to go and see Turner and Hooch, which I figured would be a good date movie, but she did not show up.
Oh.
She stood me up. And so I went to see Pet Sematary instead, which didn't really alter my mood. But happily, I did
make it better at least.
I did get my revenge because she was supposed to be coming to my high school graduation ball, right?
Yeah.
And when I found out, later on I phoned her up and said, where the hell were you? And she was like, oh yeah, no, I don't really want to go. I'm going with someone else now. So I turned up with a better looking girl. Nice, yeah. So and later on, and this is true, when she walked up to me later on in the evening and went like, hello, I genuinely didn't recognize her. So I just looked straight back at her and went, hello. And she just kind of walked off. And then later I went like, oh, it was her. Great. So her name was
something.
Anya Lorimer. If you're listening, Anya, is it nice to be remembered? Tommy Ramones was diagnosed with bile duct cancer. He was in hospice care following unsuccessful treatment for it when he died last Friday. Tommy Ramone was 65, and we miss him already. That's the final bow. It's curtains once again on Dead for Reals, and we will see you on the other side.
Movie Groove presents Things That Will Never Happen.
Making the transition from small to big screen, 2.5 Men star John Cryer has landed the lead in...
Join us next time for more Things That Will Never Happen.
Hey there, podcasters. Thanks for choosing Movie Groove. If you're a regular listener, or even if you're a virgin MacGroover, why not take a moment to like, subscribe, or even leave an encouraging comment? Every week, Movie Groove brings you news, reviews, and cheap shots at Michael Bay, all for the low, low price of nothing per download. So enjoy the show. Like, subscribe, and comment. It's a little shove that shows a lot of love. Movie Groove, 7 to 9 Thursdays on Energy Groove Radio.